What's going on, great people? This is Danielle coming to you live on YouTube. Won't be on here very long. At least I don't think. Some days I say that, and some days I end up talking for a long time. But I am wanted to do this video to talk about the types of people who tend to have the most success in property preservation. As you guys know or may not know, I am a property preservation vendor. I have been one since 2013. We do over $300,000 a year, or we average over $300,000 a year in revenue. Um, Most successful year was 2016 at $422,000 in revenue. But yeah, I also teach people how to get started in the industry as well. And of course, I'm also a tax lien investor as well. But we're not talking about tax liens today. Come in and say hey. Let me know where you're watching from. Hit the thumbs up button. Definitely appreciate you guys for doing that. Hey, Yafaya. Thank you. Hopefully, I pronounced that right and didn't butcher it too much. But I want to do this video to talk about the types of people who tend to do the best in property preservation so that you'll know what you need to do in order to become let me move these comments out of the way. Okay, doesn't appear to be working. Hey, Amari from Chicago, how you doing? Thanks for watching. Okay, so my comments won't move. Hold on. I swear I need to figure out how to use this damn YouTube live. Oh my god. Okay, it's not working. Anyway, hey Dwight from Dallas. Come in, hit the thumbs up. Appreciate you guys for watching. Of course, I teach people how to get started in preservation, and I've taught quite a few people at this point. I have quite a few success stories. I'm not going to talk about that today because I've talked about them many other videos. I want to talk about the types of people though who are the most successful. All right, so if this video closes when I hit this X, I'm going to come right back on, but I'm going to try to get rid of these comments. So give me 1 minute. Okay, that's not it. Damn it. There we go. Thank God. I was blown up with the chat messages. I mean, I wanted to hear y'all feedback, but I didn't want to see it while I was recording. These are the types of people who tend to be the most successful. Number one, they're coachable, which means that they're coachable. They follow instructions. They are willing to learn. They're willing to listen. They're willing to get feedback from people who are experienced in the industry. They're not easily offended. I guess that'd be a different characteristic, but I'll just go ahead and throw that in there. They're able to take criticism, constructive criticism, of course, and apply it. Okay, that's number one. Number two, they are resourceful. I cannot stress this enough that resourceful means that you are able to get shit done and figure it out without somebody holding your hand and giving you a step-by-step blueprint along the way. I typically have this problem the most with people who have corporate backgrounds, people who have never owned a business, people who are used to having somebody tell them what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and when to turn it into them. If that is you, you are going to either have to find another type of business to get into, or you're going to have to let some of that go. Okay, you're gonna need to be resourceful. That means that when something happens, for example, if you're at a property and or a contractor's at a property and they gave you the wrong lockbox code and you got to try to figure out how to get into the property, or you're at a property and they tell you to do one thing. For example, they send you there to do a grass cut, but the grass is already cut, so you're trying to figure out what you should do at the property. It means that you're able to think on your feet. You don't need somebody to kind of hold your hand every single step of the way. That would be the second trait. Third trait is that they have access to money and or credit. More money is always going to be better than less money. That's true about preservation. That's true about any business that you get into. But if you have like only $500 or $1,000, you're gonna have a hard time. So the minimum I say is 2 to 3,000. Again, more is better. If you have access to credit, that's even better. You can either get a cash advance or just utilize your credit to do things like put your down payment for your insurance on, for example. But you're going to need some money. If you only got a couple $100, this ain't the business for you. You either got to wait to get some more money, do some side hustles, do some inspections, do some mystery shops. I've talked about that on the other videos. Go check those videos out for that information. But you're going to have to wait because, as we all know, when you're stressed for money, you make bad decisions. Bad decisions mean that you end up being frustrated and throwing in the towel prematurely. So yes, you do need access to some resources. Another category, self-starters. These are the people who, again, I guess I mentioned this earlier, they get shit done and no matter what. And they, no, this means something different. Self-starters are those people who are not looking for somebody to motivate them. I am not in the motivation business. I'm not a motivation coach. I have no desire to be one. That's just not my area of expertise. Now, will I, offer you some words of encouragement or kind of give you a nudge here and there? I will. But if you think that you need somebody to kind of kind of kick you in your butt, so to speak, every single day, then I'm definitely not the coach for you because that's not what I do. I don't even believe in that. And as a matter of fact, I think that if you need somebody to kick you in your butt every single day, that you don't really want to do what you say you want to do. You know what I mean? So you got to do some self-reflection and figure out, what is it that really sparks your interest, that really drives you. Because if you are a grown adult man or woman and you need somebody to motivate you every single day, then somebody is lying somewhere, and you got to figure out, where that dishonesty is stemming from. Because I can assure you, for things that I want to do, I don't need somebody to remind me every single day to get them done. All right. Another characteristic. So we talked about being coachable, being resourceful, having access to money and or credit, being a self-starter. Um, you're willing to take calculated risks. This means that you are okay with not having the exact plan laid out in front of you, but you're okay with, adjusting things where necessary. So I'll give a good example of that. I talk to, of course, a lot of my clients all the time. We're over email, we chat for the most part. And every now and then I'll get someone who wants to say, hey, I'm going to cover 8 counties. I want to cover 5 states. And every time I say that this is a bad idea and you're not ready to do that, and some people, for whatever reason, are, sorry about the noise, I'm at an airport. Some people, for whatever reason, are sometimes offended by that, and it's not meant to be offensive. It's just meant as really a statement of fact. It's challenging to do that. I've done it. But again, I'm super resourceful. It's not for everybody. And it costs money. Let's not forget that. You got to pay these folks to get them to do work for you the same day so that you can get it done, especially if you're, 3, 4, 5 hours or hundreds of miles away. So you need to be able to take calculated risks. So that means that, okay, you say, I want to cover a couple of counties in, I don't know, Texas. But I'm not real sure on, what the volume is going to look like. But my point is that you get started. You can't expect to have a 100% fleshed out plan, from the very beginning. Some things you're going to have to start and adjust along the way. And I know that bothers some people. It really bothers my control freaks. I mean, I'm a control freak, and, so I get it. But if you want to really make it happen, you want to become a multiple six-figure earner or even seven figures. I have one student who's doing about $1 million a year in revenue. He works with his mom, and actually his mom is the person who recommended that he reach out to me and take the class. They didn't necessarily need all of the class, but they just wanted to. I think it was the mom more so who wanted the information because she would had less experience. So they're an exception, but for the most part, most people are not able to handle that many counties, that many states, and that many cities. So again, if you want to work in multiple counties, you kind of have to start locally and then branch out from there as needed. You sometimes have to ask the company where they need vendors at, but it is a matter of taking calculated risks. Again, and some people are freaked out by that. If you're freaked out by that, you got to either resolve that or find another industry to get into. Um, Another group of people who tend to do exceptionally well are those who are prior business owners, and that's just coming back to mindset. Um, of course, there's a difference between working a 9 to 5 and having your own business. I'll be the first to tell you that mindset shift takes quite a bit of years to master. If you're used to somebody telling you what to do and how to do it, when you have this level of flexibility, it can be a real problem for some people. Like I'll have people, some of my students, they'll email me and they'll say, this company wants me to do this job that's 4 hours away. What should I do? I'm like, well, tell their ass no. Like you're not going. Or if you do go, they got to reimburse you for it. They got to pay you a trip charge. They got to pay you for mileage. They got to, pay extra money. But some people are just completely freaked out by that. Like they cannot fathom just saying no. Nothing's going to happen to you. You're an independent contractor, my friend. So you don't want to do something, then you just simply don't do it. End of story. You're not going to get written up. And some people just have a very, very difficult time understanding that. And again, those are usually the people who've never had a business before. So you do have a lot of flexibility in what you do or don't do. And I want you to be mindful of that. So for some people, that's a great benefit. Like for me, I think it's dope. And for others, they are scared, they're freaked out by that. So you got to figure out which category best describes you. And then finally, actually, I shouldn't say finally, there's two more. Another characteristic of people who tend to do well are those who are already internet savvy. I have virtually no requests for refund ever. Like, and about 12 years that I've been an entrepreneur. I've only been doing the online classes and coaching for about 3 or 4 years, but I can't think of a single request for a refund that I've had. I have had two people lie and initiate a credit card dispute, but again, even then, that percentage is super, super, super low. And the reason for that is because I deliver on what I say that I'm going to deliver on. Okay, and again, I actually do this stuff in real life. I'm not just out here pretending. So again, very, very no refund requests that I can think of, and two fake disputes that were initiated from people who I think they both said that they didn't get the class, but I can see that they logged on and finished the class, and they even scheduled consultations. So I just can't figure out why they just didn't email me directly so we could work something out, as opposed to initiating this dispute. But I digress. You need to be internet savvy if you're going to have a property preservation business. And I didn't think before that that was something that I needed to say up front, but I've attracted a few people over the years along the way for whatever reason who, they like what I'm offering, they like my personality, they like coaching, they know what's going to help them, but they can't use the computer. I don't teach how to use a computer. That's not what I do. So if you cannot use the computer, you can't do this business, you can't do tax liens, you can't do any other business because you're going to have to know how to navigate a computer. When I say use the computer, I mean things like know what I mean by different browsers, upload, download, send emails, send attachments, download photos. It's really, really basic stuff. And my goal is not to offend anyone. I'm just simply stating a fact. You have to know how to use a computer, and I'm not going to teach you. That is not my job. I can help you with that. I have no interest in teaching that. Like, that's so far beyond what I'm here to do. There's YouTube, there's Google, there's so many free resources available to learn how to use a computer. Now, as far as the programs, Microsoft Word, of course, Adobe Acrobat, the PDF documents is cool. Excel, I use a lot. I didn't realize that Excel wasn't that commonly used by, people that are not in business. You don't really need to use Excel per se, but you're going to have to be somewhat familiar with it at some point. So it's better to get that out of the way now. But again, you got to know how to use the computer, y'all. I don't, that ain't what I'm here to do. So, and again, I ain't being funny or being offensive, but that's just not my lane. Last thing, you got to be able to follow instructions, y'all. What do I mean by that? I mean, follow the plan that's in the course, read the material, download it as instructed, study it. There's a step-by-step blueprint at the end. Follow that. And the only reason I'm stressing that is because I'll have people that'll fly through everything and then they'll come back and say, "Oh, what's the first step?" I'm like, "Well, fam, the first step is where it says number 1 on the quick start guide towards the end of the course." But because people are such in a hurry, and because some people I think are just in a hurry to get through it because they're trying to see if it's worth it. And I tell everybody, yeah, it's worth it. But I think that's the case with some people. But then others, they just don't read for comprehension, or they don't read for detail. They just read to get through some shit. And if that's you're gonna struggle, because in property preservation, you have to be like, some of these companies give you 8-page work orders. I have an example in the course from one of the companies that I work with. The work order is 8 pages long. So you got to read it, process it, figure out what they want you to do, create the work orders improving, assign the work orders to your team improving. And I'm not saying like it's difficult or it's challenging, because it's really not, but you do got to be able to read. When people schedule a call with me, there's instructions in the email confirmation that says, "Please call this number." Half of the people don't call the number at all. They say they didn't notice the number. And then, another significant majority of the people, significant portion of the people, what do the other people do? So some don't call the number, and then others just, they don't do anything. And then, some people forget. So they schedule a call because they have questions, and they want to talk to somebody. And then when the day and time comes, they either don't answer the phone because they've forgotten. So all of those things, like if you can't do those simple things, you're going to struggle in preservation. So again, I'm not here to offend anybody. None of what I say is ever meant to be offensive. But I am just trying to lay out the guidelines of the people who are the most successful, the people who I prefer to work with, so that you know what you're getting into. If following instructions and reading things for comprehension is a problem for you, you're going to struggle when these companies give you an 8 or 9-page work order and you have to read it and figure out what it is that they want you to do. Now, some companies are more straightforward. They'll just issue a straight grass cut, or they'll issue a straight trash out and they tell you exactly what they want you to do and the price. Other companies, they'll say things like, if this needs to be done, do that. If this needs to be done, do that. If the gutters need to be cleaned, do that and bid after the fact. Tell us about what needs, if there's mold in the property, treat the mold, but only up to $300. So you have to read this stuff. Otherwise, you're going to struggle, y'all. You're going to struggle. So I just want to come on because I'm stuck at the airport again in Raleigh, North Carolina, still trying to make my way back to Fort Worth, Texas. So I just want to come on and do that quick video so that you guys can know and understand the type of people who make it happen in this industry. Hit that thumbs up button for those of you who have not hit it already. Bring in some more people. I'd love to, for you to share the information as you see fit. What else? Of course, I still have an online class platform. That ain't going nowhere, and neither am I. The classes are going up permanently June 15th. Prior to that, you can still get 75% off, but the only code that works for that is live chat. Somebody type that in there. Live chat is the only code that works for 75% off. Other than that, everything is going up officially June 15th, and that option won't even be available anymore. All right, my friends. Please send me traveling mercy so that I can get back home to these babies. I fly back out Thursday to go to Atlanta for a business conference, Traffic, Sales, and Profit with Lamar Tyler. So I'm excited about that. But I'm also like, well, damn, am I ever going to get back to Fort Worth? Because it's not looking good tonight. It's been delayed 3 times already. And now I'm looking at a 3-hour delay so far. So go figure. All right. Thank y'all for watching. Sending you love, light, peace, blessings, grace, and clarity.